hosted by Brandy Pet.
Welcome, everybody. It's me, Brandy P, with the Yes, I Am the Veteran podcast. And it's been an interesting week, and I hope that you all are doing good as well. And I am always looking forward to doing a cannabis-related podcast, at least one a year. So I am very happy that we're able to have on the distinguished guests that we have on tonight. Both are doing some amazing things in the cannabis industry. I will go ahead and introduce Tony Landry first. Hey, brother, how are you doing?
Great. Brandy, how are you?
I'm here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on every time. I still can't believe that we still met. The first time we met was when we saw Two Life Crew, Mr. Mix being Air Force, actually perform to help combat veteran homelessness in your great state of Louisiana. Is that right?
That's right. Down in Houma.
Yes, that was down deep in Louisiana.
Yes.
But I did want for everybody that is listening out there today to maybe have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what branch.
Okay, my name, of course, Tony Landry, and I've served 6 years in the Navy's advanced electronic program, and got out and I had some service-connected injuries during active duty, and worked on copy machines, and ended up furthering my back injury. Had some surgeries, discovered hemp CBD, how it helped for inflammation in my body. Then I started a group, Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis, and started advocating at the Capitol for reform of Louisiana's cannabis laws.
And you're doing some amazing things. I know I started meeting you when you were working with the Veterans Action Council as well. And they're doing some amazing things. Like one of your members, isn't he in NATO now?
Yes, I actually asked a question with the Veterans Action Council. We had a couple guys over in Vienna and doing the drug policy control with the UN, trying to get cannabis moved off of their Schedule 1. And it's been moved down one level. We still have a lot of work to do, but I was able to ask a question to the drug policy control panel over there.
Wow.
Michael Krautz, he's been working over there for a decade. He works in the U.S. too with the VA, trying to get the VA to pay for our medicine. And Etienne Fontaine and Michael and Donna, Etienne's wife, went to Vienna and they've been several years, but just this recent past month they were over there doing some advocacy work. But yeah, we've got a lot of things, irons in the fire all the time. We have some Freedom of Information Acts to the Veterans Affairs Department on, finding out how many vets have said they have using cannabis, and how many were lowered their opiate use. All that information, the VA has it. And I think once we get it from them, we can really do some good work with that.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see what else you have planned, Tony. Whenever you do an event, you do it big. And so I definitely always look forward to supporting whatever it is that you're doing. And I will go ahead and introduce our guests for tonight. So we have Mr. Tom Rand from Patriots Helping Vets. Hey, Tom, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? I'm
here.
Thank you for having me on. Nice to meet you, Tony. And
Nice.
Brandy, I am psyched to get our mission out. And thank you for allowing us.
Well, absolutely, brother. This is what it's about, is getting information out there to the veteran community and beyond. And so I'm always happy to help veterans wherever I'm able to. Could you introduce yourself and maybe let everybody that doesn't know you know a little bit about you and maybe what branch you're in?
My name is Tom Rand. I live on Cape Cod. I was in the Marine Corps in the early 80s. I got out and went on a 17-year pharmaceutical run. Met some great veterans that taught me about medical cannabis. And I actually got my life back because of a plant And I guess I don't know if I was too dumb or not, but I thought it'd be a great thing just to share what I got back with every veteran that I came across that was struggling, like so many of us do. We get lost in fog and self isolate, and I mean, I was my worst enemy, and with the help of a couple of plants, it's given me an opportunity to help others learn the same thing that I was taught. In a nutshell.
Absolutely. And I think that is so important to find that sense of purpose after you get out of the military and try to make the best you can out of what you have left physically. And sometimes going the alternative medical therapy route is the absolute way to do it. I know I've written about many different types of alternative medical treatments, anything from flotation therapy to alpha stimulator therapy to ketamine infusion therapy done by the VA. But there is a lot to be said for our alternative medical treatments, and it's important that we're listening to people that are wanting to talk about it. And I think a lot of times it can create open channels of communication with veterans or people that just want to know a bit more. And so you always doing your education sessions and explaining things to people and really kind of keeping it simple and stupid. It's something that we're familiar with in the military. And I think that a lot of people absolutely appreciate that. And so thank you for all you do.
No problem whatsoever.
And so what got you into cannabis advocacy, like yourself?
When I was on 34 pills a day. So my life was basically I thought I was a great person, but I was a very uptight, very agitative, very anxious person. Um, I almost lost feeling for everything. I became morally bankrupt while I was on all these pills. I was just I was like lost in a fog of emotion. I didn't care about emotions. Nothing really stimulated me anymore. I had a wonderful kids. I had a wonderful wife, but nothing was fulfilling me at that moment. It was more the only thing I really cared about is when my prescriptions were filled. I had handcuffs on. I couldn't go on vacation. I couldn't go fishing. I couldn't do anything without knowing when my prescriptions would fill and if I would be feeling good that day. Because if we ran short, I mean, it was a terrible experience. You couldn't do anything. You were basically bedridden and pretty much not the nicest person at that point. So when Howard and Harold they introduced me to cannabis, which I smoked cannabis, but to get high, I didn't know there was a medicinal side of cannabis that um, actually with the different types of cannabis you can make, like with the FICO, and you can make edibles, and you can make tinctures, suppositories, FICO. I mean, it's endless what cannabis does. But they taught me how to grow a plant and actually care for a plant. Like you actually care because you want that harvest to be the best harvest you can. So for me, it was just a simple thing of a couple of guys taking the time and showing me that there's other ways besides the pharmaceutical. Them being heavy into the fishing and clamming also helped tremendously because I mean I love to go fishing and clamming. So it became a ritual that we go fishing and we go clamming, take the shells, we'd make soil, we'd make blood meal, we'd make fish meal. It was just a like an ongoing class on how to restructure your life and relive, which I was so impressed with after the 2 years it took me to get off everything. I just wanted to share that with other people. So before social media, a couple of people that had problems drinking, I would just teach them how to grow cannabis at the house. I wasn't on social media. It was so nice. Not that social media is not nice, but to have that one-on-one time that you go fishing and
Yes.
then go sit at the beach and collect kelp and then cut it up and dry it and wash it and cook the clams on the grill and eat the clams, then crush the clam shells to add to your soil. I mean, it was just like a ritual. Um, and then my kids told me that if you get on social media, you could really help a lot more veterans. And I think doing advocacy for something that you really believe in, you go outside your comfort zone. And being on social media and stuff, to me, you get really outside your comfort zone a lot. Um,
I
then,
agree.
then it went from just helping a few veterans a year to helping 5 or 10 a month. And I would see people in grow groups. I joined all my Facebook grow groups, and I'd see people buy a new light. And I'd reach out to them and say, "What are you doing with the old light? I mean, I can get that into a veteran's hand to help him grow." Before long, I became known as Tom, the Cape Garden of the vet guy. Like, if you have old equipment or you have extra cannabis, give it to Tom, and Tom will get it to a veteran for free. And that just got to the point where we started Patriots Helping Vets because not only were the donations coming in, but the requests were coming in. I mean, we send out, I don't know how many hundreds of little seed packs. They have a couple packs of different seeds, some feminized, some photos, a couple of regs, a couple of autos.
Agree, Janelle.
And that,
Agree. Agree.
you know, and by sending out a seed pack to a veteran, you can really change someone's life. A lot of people want to try an alternative, but they don't know where to get seeds or how to get seeds or you just offer a simple thing is to send them seeds, and we do everything for free. We've never charged a veteran.
And that's really something to say because a lot of that equipment is extremely expensive. And for you to just give that to veterans, like you're really empowering them and helping them improve the daily quality of their life because of the fact that, unfortunately, like some people prefer to grow because of the fact that they know something hasn't been altered in it or it's a lot cheaper. But a lot of times it comes to personal preference, but unfortunately we don't have it where it's legal to grow in all of the states, but you even just giving information is so helpful to so many people.
Yeah. I mean, even if people can get therapeutic thing by growing lemon balm and tomatoes in any, the dark age states that haven't come around and realize the benefits of gardening, which hopefully someday soon. I mean, after World War II, there was veterans victory gardens everywhere.
Victory
I
Gardens, yeah.
mean, it's proven that it's good for the endorphins. It makes you feel good when you get your hands into the dirt. And
Yep.
if the VA could just realize that a lot of veterans benefit from just growing their own plants, but
Yep.
it would save them a lot of aggravation because you'd have a lot less veterans being strung out on pharmaceuticals. I feel, and you'd have less suicide.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving veterans a sense of purpose is absolutely important. And I think a lot of us tend to do the suck it up buttercup thing far too long and not ask for help until it's far too late. And giving people like avenues that they feel comfortable in a supportive community where they can express these things and also to, be able to ask questions and they know they're not going to get lit up by, 5 or 10 people that no, you're wrong. It's a very relaxed environment.
Yeah. Well, I think it's encouraged, not discouraged. Especially you have people. A lot of our members are a little bit older, and you get them in. They usually start with the salve because they've been taught their whole life how bad cannabis is. But one of their friends will introduce them to the group, or they'll reach out to me and ask me for salve because they have a ache or pain. Next thing you know, they'll try growing their plants and then smoking or edibles, and they realize the benefits. I think a lot of people, were taught that it was such a bad plant that if you just go in and just, I don't know, full force on them, I think that will freak a lot of people out. I think you need to just take a few moments to teach people that less is better when it comes to being introduced to cannabis.
Of
Like
course.
I, I love a 50 to 100 milligram edible. It gets me going. We tell people 2 to 5 milligrams to start. Because you don't want someone to feel uncomfortable, and then they that first experience with cannabis, if it's not a positive one, they're most likely not going to want to try it again. So what have you done except for turn someone away from a plant that I think is extremely beneficial?
Yep, absolutely. And just the education aspect of it, because I think a lot of us, especially in the veteran community, we don't get to ask questions from like legitimate sources a lot of times. So a lot of times we tend to go on secondhand or third hand information and we don't look at facts. And especially when we have so many different health conditions and a lot has changed in the 20 or 30, if not more years that some of us were in the military, and that was very much the environment. So it's important to look at everything with an objective lens, definitely. And Tony, I know I've been just jabbering away, but I'll let you go ahead and ask for Tom a question.
Yeah, I looked at your group, Patriots Helping Vets, and I like the fact that y'all do the therapeutic gardening and stuff. I think that, like you said, that really helps. I grow mushrooms. I have a group, Swamp Spore Society, and when I'm growing mushrooms, I get up in the middle of the night hurting or something. I go check on the mushrooms, and it helps me get my mind off the pain. See where they're at and how they're doing, and then so it's therapeutic for me. And so
And the harvest of mushrooms is therapeutic. So many of them.
yeah,
I mean, that's another whole. Yeah, I mean, here's a bag
Hey,
all in one.
yeah.
I think any type of alternative medicine. I mean, here's one that people don't. I mean, here's a piece of lemon
hmm.
for people that have anxiety and stuff. All you do is I have it growing all around the yard in the grow rooms. If I'm getting anxiety, I just grab a piece and take a little whiff, and that lemon scent just kind of calms you down a little.
And what was that again?
It's called lemon balm.
Lemon balm. Okay, I'm gonna have to plant that because I'm planting my garden.
Well,
You got me inspired, so I bought black beauty tomatoes and blackberries and a bunch of other stuff
lemon balm should be grown in a container.
in a
It
container.
is yes, it is a little aggressive little sucker if you let it go.
Note to self.
Yeah, and then it's got into where we started doing events. Uh, We have a couple every year. We have the Harvest Cup in November, which is a great event. We get an Airbnb so veterans can come in from all over the country without having to spend, money for a room and board, and get free tickets to the event for them. And we have a nice booth set up with a lounge area, and it's nice to meet people that you've met on Facebook and talked to for so long to actually meet in person. It's a pretty incredible experience, you know. Uh, like you said, the grow equipment. Last year we gave out $26,000 worth of grow equipment. You know,
Just-
just uh, just the veterans that want to learn how to grow cannabis or
That's
vegetables, anything.
yeah, and I mean, just
Money.
horticulture in general is amazing to know as a skill. So even if, they don't want to grow cannabis or anything like that, but they want to just learn about gardening because that is relaxing for them. You do give away quite a bit of different seeds for different plants and vegetables. Is that right?
Yeah, we do vegetables, gardening. I mean, any type. The vegetable garden is fantastic because a lot of veterans don't have the best relationship with their children sometimes. So, but if you have little kids and you plant sugar snap peas, those things grow so quick. Next thing you know, you guys are sharing them, snapping them off the vine, and sharing them while you're at the container, and checking on the strawberries, and it can become a very family-oriented thing. Like I used to plant sugar snap peas everywhere, and all the kids in the neighborhood when they were tiny, my kids were small, they'd come and wipe me out like within a day. Those and little grape tomatoes. So to me, yeah, growing cannabis is a wonderful thing. But growing anything, especially when you do it with loved ones and people that you really, you care about, and it's such a fun hobby that you can share with people. The good thing that we like about cannabis is if you send someone that lives by themselves in an apartment or a house and they don't get out, they're not social really, they just kind of stay to themselves. And you send them a plant or you send them a grow setup and they start growing, well, now they really start caring about that plant or vegetables or whatever. And if they have a problem, they're not going to let that thing die. So they have to become more active and reach out. And a lot of them don't want to go on Google. They just start asking questions. And then a lot of people just start bonding with each other and start messing with each other and building relationships on the side outside the group that started in the group, which is just another bonus of helping each other.
How's the stigma with like the gardeners and the cannabis growers? Is it they mesh pretty good, build community?
My community, yes. I have a couple of elderly ladies that are in their late 80s and early 90s that grow some bud that I've never seen, but they've also been grown for 90 something years. So, of course, they're going to be good at gardening, you know? Like we have a guy out in Arkansas, and people are, more apt to talk about it. I remember we used to in Massachusetts 10 years ago. You wear a cannabis shirt, people are looking at you like you're selling heroin. Now, uh, it's much more accepted by everyone that it's just cannabis. At the Harvest Cup, it's weird because you go outside and you smoke and you're sitting there talking to police officers while you're smoking a joint, and then your whole life, Tony, it grows like, whoa, wait a minute, this is weird, but it's nice that it's normal.
Changing, yes.
That's a
How is
fantasy
it down there?
happen. I want to do that one day. Goals.
You're in Louisiana. How is Louisiana?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't quite catch that. I grew up in Louisiana and went to Arizona and got my patient card over there. And I was smoking on the front porch, and I had a medical card, and they had a domestic disturbance across the street. And the sirens came, and I ran in the house, just the PTSD from living in Louisiana. Because Louisiana, it ain't fun over here. There's still a lot of stigma. The program that we have, the medical program, is very restrictive, limited on growers. Two growers with 4.5 million patients, and we have a max 30 possible dispensaries. It's different in different places. You go to New Orleans and walk down the street, on Bourbon Street, smoking a joint, and it's okay. But in some other communities, there's one community fighting a dispensary building in that community. It's a whole parish that there's
Right.
1,700 patients there, and the city council doesn't want them to have a dispensary. So it's varied. I think it's changing, it's getting better, but it's still varied.
So it's not by state; it's by parish. By each parish can make up their own rules.
Well, as far as the location of the dispensary, no, we have a statewide program, and we have protection for state employees, medical cannabis patients. If they have a medical recommendation, they go apply for a state job. They can't deny you a job because of the medical cannabis. And certain jobs you can't. If you're a state fire department, you can't. Certain jobs, safety jobs, driving, you can't be a medical patient, but teachers and jobs that aren't dangerous, high risk, you're protected, but not our private employees, not yet. But we worked on tried to get a bill through, but it didn't make it through. But so I'm grateful for what we have, Tom. I've been working on changing the policy since 2018. I went over there and got chronic pain, a bill out, myself and a couple other vets and some other people, helped push a bill, but to get chronic pain PTSD added to our ailments, because at first our medical program, you had to have some very serious life-threatening diseases to be able to qualify, and the program just wasn't getting off the ground from 2015 to 2018. But as soon as that bill went out and passed in 18, we got product on the shelf in 2019. And,
Wow.
and at that time, I was in Arizona until to about 2021, maybe. I moved back.
Around the time I met you. That's interesting.
3 years in Arizona, I moved back here and got really, right back busy and having rallies at the Capitol. And Brandy's joined us at a rally there at the Capitol.
Tony's just a menace on the state.
And she'll be at our next rally on April 14th. You have to go there, and you have to advocate, you have to use your voice, and if you don't talk, then they'll be like, well, we don't need to do anything. Everything going fine. But if you go over there and you advocate in a respectful manner to the legislators, then it can turn the tables.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, are they more receptive with veterans groups, veterans
Good question.
organizations pushing the cannabis?
They love the vets down here. The Louisiana legislators, and they're very respected. As far as veterans and cannabis, it's I have a few people that help with the rallies and stuff, but it's not like a big crowd of 30 or anything that goes to the rally. But other than that, they do a lot for the vets. We just got a law passed that reduced our auto insurance by 25%. So do stuff like that quite
That's
often.
my weed money. It's
Well, what I find talking to politicians and stuff, a lot of them are veterans they might be anti-cannabis, but they see the benefits their brothers and sisters are getting for it that gives them the initiative to, okay, maybe we should check this out and see what is. It's
Yeah,
kind of like breaking the ice a little bit.
I think so too. It's just a matter of vets, emailing their legislators and letting them know how it's helping them. You have to speak out and tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like being that veteran advocate that refuses to back down and have that tenacity, like that's literally how David Bass was able to get PTSD added as a list of conditions for Texas, and how he did it. Because he told me, I asked him because I'm curious. But he would wear like the most annoying Halloween costumes every day on the steps of the Capitol because they wouldn't meet with him for a long time. And so he would just wear it, and he would wear exactly where they would have to walk past him to see it. And after like a few months, like they were like, all right, this guy needs to like go. We'll just sit down with him for one meeting. And that's really all it took to open those doors. So sometimes being the change you want to see, like absolutely applies to civilian life, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I'm able to do it. I'm grateful to have the able body and mind to drive over to the Capitol and do the work I do. Because I know it's helping a lot of vets. A lot of vets are laid up and in chronic condition in bed. They can't do what I do. So when I go, they're in my heart. I'm out there for them, fighting for them.
That's right,
And if
Tony.
I'm laid up in bed, that's a lot. I want to have some cannabis, some full extract fecal oil. I want to have the, you know, I don't want to be go out of this life doped up on morphine or something like that. I'd rather go have my cannabis.
Yep. Once was really enough for me, or 5 years. Like, no thanks. I know, not a fan. So let me ask both of you this question. So, I'll ask it to you first, Tom. So, how can cannabis or psilocybin help veterans, and what conditions are you seeing a lot of veterans that are using them? Not obviously, you're not a doctor, but what are common conditions that you're noticing? That they're
Psilocybin, a lot of them do like these gummies, but we also have another company that we work with that has a bunch. It's like a tackle box. It has a variety of
nice.
psilocybin with mushrooms that helps you with, calming effect, energy, bowel situations if your stomach's upset, cognitive, line made cognitive. So there's a ton of going on that way. A lot of them, a lot of us microdose mushrooms for anxiety, stress, and it's so weird because when you start dosing, if you start with a antidepressant, they tell you it's going to be 6 weeks before you start really feeling if you know it's going to work or not. It's a pharmaceutical.
It's a cumulative effect.
But,
Okay.
but with mushrooms, it's like after taking them for a week or so, you just look back and go, wow, I really didn't have a bad week. I didn't get upset. I didn't get anxiety. Like my stress level was lower, and it's like a lot quicker acting. Unfortunately, some people have enzymes that prevent them from reacting with psilocybin, but that's okay. I mean, maybe there's something else for them, the ketamine or something.
Yeah, ketamine counteracts mine I've found. Because I do ketamine infusion therapy through the VA, and they also use Versed, which is a high power anti-anxietal. So like I would get like a light buzz, but basically it doesn't have the same effectiveness on me that another person, that you would put them on their butt basically. And I'd be like, this isn't doing anything for me. But I'm like, I believe it's the ketamine. So I'm curious to see if there's studies on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing more and more. I mean, it's weird because like Mike and Josh, they'll be on the 10th. Every Thursday night, we have a mushroom soup class.
I
He talks
remember that.
about the different types of mushrooms and stuff, and anyone can join it. It's on Zoom. But he'll talk about how many, the different kinds and what they do. We have Cody.
We can't really hear you very well, Tom.
Is that better?
Yep, better.
Cody from Mystic Fruit, he grows some of the best mushrooms, all sorts of mushrooms, but he'll tell you which works, which doesn't work, uh, which you should try, how much you should try. Um,
I
it's
found my
amazing.
dad too. He's so mad at me. She's like, don't eat a whole brownie. My buddy's wife is down for the whole weekend. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Right? Then, I mean, with cannabis, I mean, FICO is an amazing thing that someone can grow cannabis, harvest the plant, take the leftover sugar, the popcorn and sugar leaves, and make this thing called FICO, which is fully extracted cannabis oil. It's easy to do. With a distiller, you can reclaim the alcohol, or you can just boil the alcohol off, and you're left with a little tar-like something. And this you can make edibles out of, caplets, suppositories, and it's endless. Like a lot of people take little doses, 2 to 4 milligrams of candies throughout the day to help with pain throughout the day. So instead of being on opiates and stuff like that, they take a little doses of cannabis oil throughout the day, and they don't have the side effects that with the pills.
Yeah, like I
I
even saw like the
personally,
inhaler that you like had through the page, like for like people to test that. Yeah, I use that for my
proven.
with my ex-husband. Like, but I feel this anxiety. Should put his
You don't
name
have
on
to
it.
inhale them. That's another thing that we have going on in the group. We have 2 different doses that we give out to veterans for free to try to see if they get benefit from it, and it can help.
Yeah, that'll
Finding
do a
that
lot.
people with COPD, it's a little difficult, but for the convenience and everything else, some people can't leave their building to inhale cannabis or vape. They don't like the edibles because of the hydro lemon, the different types of high from smoking. So they have this option that they can just, you just and you're good to go. I mean, it's it's just another form of medicating, and with this, it's such a microdose that you can actually pinpoint how much you need throughout the day to make your body feel to where you want to be, to where you can work and just have an easier day.
Yeah, that helps a lot for my anxiety specifically, and pain as well. That when I was very surprised.
Work. I mean, it's a nice little thing, and I mean,
Yeah,
I'll work with anyone. If you wanted to do a veteran study and see how it is. The problem is a lot of the veterans, and if you're part of the veteran study out there, please return the forms or fill out the form, guys. You're killing me. Um, yeah, I can't say enough about cannabis because I got my life back. So to me, it was such a game changer, and by helping others now, you just see it being which helps so many people from such a spectrum of life, like from professionals to, I don't want to say tradesmen, but to fishermen, to everyone. And unfortunately, there's some occupations that don't allow you to have cannabis. Massachusetts, I was so happy a couple of years ago that a lot of the towns don't test for cannabis for like the firefighters, but a lot of them they sign a contract of an iron lung or a black lung clause, so they can't smoke anything, cigars,
oh,
cigarettes,
dang.
or
Okay.
anything,
That makes sense.
but they can have edibles. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like okay, that I'll take that. It's a win. It's
Problem
in the
solved.
right direction, you know. Um,
And what about you, Tony? What would you say for like psilocybins and cannabinoids? Like, what would you say are like common conditions that you're finding veterans are seeking out treatment to help with?
like for cannabis, the ECS endocannabinoid system. Whenever we're deficient in our internal cannabinoids, we're going to hurt more and or be more depressed. So that supplements our system. When we get the THC and CBD, it helps those inflammation points and the depression and stuff. But psilocybin is very exciting for treatment for addiction, depression, and anxiety. We get into these patterns, when we're born, all our synapses are connecting and working good. And every time we get some trauma, they pull back. So when you take the psilocybin, it increases neuroplasticity in the brain, and it allows, when you in this rut every day, it allows you to get up on the highway and go around that spot that you get stuck in all the time. You get a new pathway. So it kind of, helps with all those depression. People get stuck. They take a little microdose of psilocybin. You're just a little bit elevated. You're not, it's not like you're even really feeling it. You just feel a little bit of mood change. And then you can, of course, go up to like 1 gram and experience maybe a mild intoxicating feeling like you drank a couple beers. And then when you get into the heroic dose, 3.5 grams to 5, that's when the real powerful work comes to. If you're having a lot of depression, you can really break out of that and look at life in a different way. So I think it's it's good that the VA is talking about the research they're doing with psychedelics, because MDMA. I went to the 2019 Arizona Psychedelic Conference, and I learned about ayahuasca, ibogaine, MDMA, psilocybin. They had speakers from all over the world that spoke on the benefits of these plants, and the historical, or the indigenous people used to pass this knowledge down to their next generation. And when these drug laws come out, it stifled a lot of that information and just damped it down. So that's why, we taking all these pharmaceutical antidepressants today, that when the psilocybin, the chemical structure of the psilocybin is almost identical to serotonin. So if you get a little psilocybin in you, then you're gonna feel like you're in a good mood. So I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm glad to see the VA is working on bringing that to vets.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're even getting medical studies in general. Because there was a long time that they didn't, but they wouldn't change any legislation because they didn't have the data, but they wouldn't want to do the studies to begin with. So I'm very glad that we're actually starting to do them and take them seriously.
Yes.
And so, Tony, did you want to ask a question?
Yes, let's see, Brandy. I have them on my phone here. I can ask question 5.
Yep, doing good.
Okay, Tom. What are the programs or services offered by your nonprofit?
Okay. Well, we have a couple. We offer free seeds and equipment. Well, equipment when feasible, when we have the funds and stuff. We offer a mentorship program. We offer classes in education on the expanding your mind with mushrooms, but not just the psilocybin. Like on the 10th, we have a class with Mike, and he comes in. He talks about how you blend it with lion's mane and the different other types of mushrooms and roots, ginger roots, and the marshmallow root, and all this other things that combine the benefits that you get. So I think that's extremely helpful. We have a recovery meeting. I think it's twice a week for anyone that is suffering, that's trying to get through either alcohol or opiates or whatever they're dealing with to get off of, which I think is extremely beneficial to people that
Absolutely.
are coming out of their shell trying to find things. We help people locate and allocate FICO for people on a cancer program that is going through. A lot of them have been sent home to get their affairs in order, and the side effects of chemo, the FICO really helps out with. Or if they want to battle FICO, battle the cancer with a round of FICO, we'll try to help them out with that the best we can.
It's amazing.
We offer fellowship, and like I said, we do everything for free. We try to sell T-shirts. We have a duck toss that we do at events, but For the most part, when we do events, veterans come up, we give them free seeds, free pre rolls, and a lot of the time free shirts and stuff. It's hard to make money off of veterans who give so much to the country already, and you hold the key to have them. It's incredible. I mean, people don't understand what the power of just a little tiny seed. Like a little one cannabis seed can be life changing, not only for veterans but for anyone.
Yeah. Many applications of
You know,
basically the entire plant, really, in different ways.
basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's basically we do events and we do gatherings. We have a gathering April 26th in Townsend, Mass. Then we're having a Bong and Pong April 28th, which is a Monday. That we have Bong and Pong tournaments at STEM Haverhill, which is a dispensary here in Mass. These people are unbelievable with their generosity to the veteran community, especially us. I mean, they allow us to give out between 20 and 30 grow setups to veterans across the country every year. And they do
Wow.
it with a smile. Like they're so just energetic about it. And the support, it's like you just want to do better by being around Carol and Adam and their whole crew. They're just, I don't know, they're just a great group of people, you know.
Well, it seems like you're a pretty amazing gentleman yourself, and you found your community. And I know that every time I've posted, I mean, people answer you like really clearly and be super friendly, like they've known you for a long time. And I know a lot of times, like when you're coming in a group, especially as a veteran, like, you know, there's a bit of apprehension to ask questions if you don't know. And to have such a supportive community that you cultivated is pretty amazing, I think. That's my thoughts.
I think it's the people you surround yourself with, you know.
Yep.
And the little things like we do giveaways, which people think, oh, giveaways. No, we give out like simple things, pack of seeds or a rolling tray or something so small to so many people. But for someone that's by themselves all day, they really don't get out much or do anything. It's a chance for them to win that. It's kind of like, ooh, something to look forward to for the day. Like,
Yeah, you made my
you
whole
know,
birthday when I happened to win. I actually told my sister, she's Army, and I was like, you need to check out this group. And I was like, just to show you, like, because she didn't like believe that you do the giveaways every week for totally different things. And I was like, I'm gonna show you. I was like, I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna try to win. I don't know if I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna try. And I actually won a seahorse on my birthday. I was just like, no way. You told me like a few weeks later. I was like, I actually won. I won. But
that's what it is. It just makes people happy. You
it
know,
does.
if you can be kind and brighten someone's day, why not do it?
Yep.
We're
I
very
choose.
fortunate. We've built a name that people like to donate stuff for us to give out to veterans for free.
Well, it's an amazing organization, and I could see why. I tend to teeter between being choosing to be a fucking problem and choosing to be an advocate and help people every day. I don't always succeed in the being an advocate every day, but I try my best. That's all I can do. So, Tom, what is your favorite smoking song? Like, I know everyone has their own personal one that changes with your mood, but I have to ask, do you have a favorite?
I that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I get lost. Like I'll go in, believe it or not, but like Cat Stevens, Barry Manilow, um, I
Classy.
Neil Diamond. I'll get lost in like Love on the Rocks by Neil Diamond because
Nice.
relate to it
That's it.
again.
That's your
So
jam. All
far.
right.
They just I don't know. I think it's powerful if you really listen. You know.
Nice. Honestly, it mean it's different for everybody. I know me, like it kind of goes between like songs from the heavy metal soundtrack to like, you know, like was it 311? But this is me. What about you, Tony? Do you have a favorite? I know you've got several. Is it Two Live Crew? Tell me it is.
I'm more. I listen to a lot of Cajun music down here. I don't know if you could classify that as, but yeah, not a big music Afrocondiac. You know, it's just I'm just not that. I never have been. sure Bob Marley, it brings a bell. If I'm smoking and I want to listen to one of his songs, that might be, one of my artists. But
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't listen to a lot of big music, a lot of music.
If I listen to Bob Marley, I think about all those heavy ass Jamaican indicas. That's what I would think about. Oh man, the things I learned in Jamaica, totally different. But did you have a question, Tony, that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I can take the next question on the list.
Sweet.
Do you have Tom? Do you have any upcoming events where can we find you?
Okay. Well, like I said, we do a private event in Townsend on the 26th. That's just for veterans to come out free and spend the day and just they don't pay for anything. They just have a nice, relaxed day and get elevated and eat and enjoying themselves. Uh, then the next event is in Haverhill, Mass. That will be the Bong and Pong. The Renaissance Golf Course up in Haverhill, Mass. That's a day long from 11 to 5 and ping pong tables and you have teams and it's a lot of fun. We got knocked out the first round 2 years ago, so hopefully we can last more than a round. Hopefully we'll do weed stock in September. That's down in Delaware, down at Fire Base Lloyd, which is a farm that's owned by a group of veterans. That is a really great place for festivals, music festivals, cannabis festivals, you name it. It's a great place. Then the big one is in November. That's the Harvest Cup in Worcester, Mass. It's November 8th and 9th, and it is just a weekend, 7th and 8th, I'm sorry, of just people come in from as far away as Arkansas, from Florida, and we all get to meet people for the first time, and we have a big party and a cookout at the Airbnb. Like I said, the people can come. All they got to do is pay for travel. Once they get there, everything's all set between the room and the tickets to the event. And that's about it, Tony. I mean, I don't know. We do pop ups and a couple more events, but
Sounds awesome, like an awesome lineup. I hope to
Right?
see.
gatherings.
Like, sign me
It, gatherings is really a very important part of our mission because you know it really changes people when they see how the veteran medicating and how they share stories and you learn that you're not the only one that has suffered for so long that has a cure. I mean, I would hate to be in a place that's illegal that you couldn't go out. Like I said, I can go out and smoke a joint in my front lawn while I'm mowing my lawn, and no one's gonna say you boo to me. I'd hate to be in a place that you couldn't grow and you couldn't go out and just medicate. Not that you shove it in people's face. I'm just saying, like, when we go to the beach, me and my wife, I'll sit there and, if there's no kids right next to me, obviously, I'll just, fire up a joint, relax, and have a nice day. And I wish that every veteran across the country could get that same feeling because it's nice not worrying about the cost.
Yeah, nice not to have to look over your shoulder. We fortunate in Louisiana we can medicate outdoors, but in Arizona you had to be like in a private area or couldn't be in a park or anything, enjoying your day and light up a joint. That was illegal at the time when I was there. Now it might have changed now, but it wasn't as free outdoors as it is here in Louisiana. Thank goodness.
And it's interesting seeing all the different types, like the beers and the sodas and wine. Someone said they have wines now, which I mean,
Yep.
that would be pretty cool to have a sativa beer. Just skip back and have a beer.
I want to go be invited to a wedding where they have like the bride and the groom strains. Like that's the wedding I would like to go to because they do
Yeah.
that now too. And so, Tony, I did want to ask you. So, tell us about your upcoming rally that's next week and or the 14th, and what legislation is currently being proposed, and how can we support?
Okay, thanks, Randy. The rally April 14th. We're assembling at the Veterans Park next to the Capitol. We'll get there in the morning in the Capitol Rotunda. We have 3 tables reserved for the Rotunda, and we'll set up our tables at 8, and then the legislators come in at noon. But in between that time, we'll go out to the Veterans Memorial Park. There's We don't have a sponsor for music or anything, but we'll have some speeches. Veterans will speak. We'll invite the politicians that what bills that we're supporting if they want to, speak about their bill, and we'll leave from there. The flag detail. I have 4 flag poles, parade quality flag poles with the flags, and we'll have a flag detail lead the rally up to the Capitol steps, where we'll take a group photo, and then we'll go inside and just lobby with the legislators. It's just a matter of meeting with them. A lot of them will come to the tables and talk to us about our life story or something, and it can lead to great things. You meet a legislator and tell them any story from a veteran or civilian. It's not just a veterans rally. It's everybody's out there, but we'll just promote home grow and expanding the licenses, medical cannabis licenses, and adult use. Whatever bills we can support, we'll be supporting that day.
And so I remember coming out to your rally for one bill, but you were telling me earlier you have how many now? 5?
Yeah, right now we have 5 bills.
That is wild.
The deadline for the bills is April 14th, so we still, a little bit away from the deadline. Some people hold them till the last day and drop it, but right now seems to be mostly some good in some of these bills, but they're mostly prohibitionist bills, Brandy. We have HB 12, Let's Pretend Hemp is Dangerous bill, where it makes raises the age to buy them to 21 years old, and it criminalizes possession under 21 with a $100 fine. Now, we're talking about hemp THC now. This is not adult use. Cannabis is only for medical right now in Louisiana, so you'd have to have a medical recommendation if you get caught with possession of cannabis. And these are hemp THC bills. Then another bill is and that HB 12, you can actually, for selling hemp without a permit in Louisiana, it'll send you to up to 10 years in prison and a $50,000 fine.
Wow.
So this is way too harsh. I mean, this is a federally legal substance, and we don't need to be having that kind of penalties on that. But this Representative Schlegel, she seems to be a rabid prohibitionist, and this is the kind of stuff she comes out with. We have to fight every year. Her next bill, HB 36, it adds hemp products to the list of illegal controlled substances. If you sell a gummy to a minor, you could get treated like selling heroin, if it's on the controlled dangerous substance. Just an attack right now. They're trying to attack in which most states are same thing. The medical cannabis industry goes after the hemp industry so they can have a monopoly on THC. It's just a turf war, and this is how they do it, underhanded ways, trying to say they're protecting children and stuff, but it's just a war against the hemp, so they can have the 2 growers that we have will have exclusive rights to grow THC. That's what they're working towards. So, but the next bill, HB 187, it adds a 15% tax. Representative Fontenot, another prohibitionist in Louisiana, wants to add a 15% tax on consumable hemp. We already have the highest local state sales tax, 10% on when we go buy something at a store, we pay 10%. So this is going to be 25% on these hemp products.
Yeah, because a lot of veterans, we were saying last year that a lot of veterans in the state of Louisiana could not afford their medicinal purchases because of how expensive it is, and they're turning to their local guy. And he's maybe got something in it like fentanyl or something, and it's unfortunate that happens because it's so inaccessible to people that need it.
It's exactly right, Brandy. It's a lot of the way we have these 2 growers are able to get 2 and 3 times for an eighth of cannabis. They're getting $60 to $70, And in Mississippi, they're selling, the same company, Good Day Farms, is selling this stuff in Mississippi for $25, And I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office, and it just went mute. They didn't do anything about it, So it's our only hope is to get home grow, where we can actually grow our own at home. Or if they expand the market and let some other growers in, then there'll be competition. They'll be forced to sell it at a decent price. But right now, they're price gouging us, and it's just that people are using the hemp products because they're cheaper, and you can get them without a recommendation. You can go to a grocery store and get some hemp THC beverages, and they're using those beverages to avoid alcohol. They're using them. You can get those in some of the bars in Louisiana, so people are able to go out with their friends and have a couple THC drinks and probably be the safe driver and get everybody home safe. But the way they just continuously try and kill the hemp industry over here. They have another bill here to revoking probation if you get caught with hemp products.
With hemp products? Wow.
Probation to send people back. Another prohibitionist, a rabid prohibitionist, Representative Villio, is always up there trying to criminalize the marginalized people. But all this is going to do is it's going to promote the medical cannabis industry and the prison industry. The last one, I think, Brandy, is HB 235. It's another tax on hemp, 20% tax added to the 10. And then they're going to put 15% in the childhood education fund. Well, that's a fund that all citizens in Louisiana should be paying into, not a hemp patient, So they're charging the hemp 30% going into the criminal justice first responder fund. Those services are taken advantage of by every citizen in the state. They shouldn't just tax hemp patients. They should tax the alcohol patients. Not patients, but consumers. They
want like a liquor store tax extra. It's only fair, right? That would make sense to me. Like if they're gonna up tax in one area, you would seek to increase that all the way around. Or I just wish that more lawmakers would be honest about their private cannabis use, so that way people aren't seeing it as like, we know they can't partake because they're in particular states, and that's very much usually not the case. So
yeah.
So Taylor was saying that she pays a 9.8% tax with around 1%, then a gratuity tax, which is 15% in Arizona. She said it's wild to watch $60 turn into $90. And it's true, you don't really realize it until you're in the middle of making the purchase and you're like, what are all these extra fees? Like it says this is the amount it is. Why is it a $30 tax? But she broke it down.
Yeah, and then people are going to go to the illicit market where they don't have a tax, and then the risk they're getting fentanyl in it.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
So
and then,
Tony, in 2018, Louisiana voted in medical.
In 15. We got medical, but they didn't put in there. They put in that it had to be prescribed, so they had to come back in 16 and change that. And then in 17 they did something else, and it wasn't until 18 where we finally got chronic pain, and that's when the dispensaries started getting their licenses. And Tom, and get before that, who's going to invest millions of dollars to take care of just a handful of patients, that had some very serious ailments, but it wasn't profitable enough. They wasn't going to be selling enough. But when chronic pain and PTSD got enacted in the law, then the dispensaries, you could look at the licenses. It was the day after that bill got signed that they started getting their stuff together. And it wasn't until 19 before we got product. And it was just...
They had to force the issue, too, if I remember. They actually really had to, push the state to actually, follow through and allow the sale, if I remember. Is that right?
Yeah. First, we're the prison capital of the world. We in prison per ratio more people than China.
Wow.
It's terrible, Brandy. It's just a terrible.
I thought that was Texas. I'll be fair. I really did.
Louisiana, and we might be 2 now, but that's our history here. And the sheriffs get to build their own prison. So they over there at the Capitol fighting us, for cannabis reform. And the DAs want the drug diversion money. They want to put cannabis consumers in in their drug diversion program because it makes them millions of dollars. So it's just a silly, evil, profitable situation for no good, because this is a medicinal plant. We have alcohol nip bottles on the candy aisle, little bins right next to the candy bars and gas stations. But they wanted all the hemp products out of the gas station last year. They wanted to kill the whole program, but we saved a little bit of it. But the gas stations had to clean out all the hemp products while they have these little alcohol nip bottles right on the same aisle that the kids walk by to get candy, So that's the kind of stuff we deal with. It's just some ignorant stuff. So, but that other tax, they're going to put 25% of this hemp consumable hemp testing regulation bill. Only 25% is going to go to the testing. The other 30% is going to go to drug education and treatment fund. So, I mean, it just missed the bill's misguided. We have another one to discipline kids at school if they get caught, which are stricter. These things are stricter than if you get caught with alcohol. It's gonna the first violation is 10 hours of substance abuse treatment if a child gets caught with a gummy at school. Second violation, suspended for up to half a semester. Third violation, full semester suspension after third violation.
The third violation, you're gonna have to talk to the mom and ask who's connected.
And that's all we have right now to work with. That's the people that put in bills so far this year. Hopefully we'll get something that we can work toward passing, because in the last 6 years, the majority of our time I've spent at that Capitol, it's been fighting stuff.
Really?
So recreation's not anytime soon?
Maybe possibly 26. I've heard through the grapevine, maybe we'll have something in 26, a good bill to fight for, but I don't see it this year, Tom. Not so far. I mean, this stuff here is just crazy,
That's crazy tax stuff. Money making.
Well, and the crazy part about it, the medical cannabis program doesn't even have a consumer, like a testing compliance thing. We don't even have that for medical cannabis, and we got people with immune compromised systems taken this cannabis here and getting 7% tax that the health department's collecting. And they don't even have a testing compliance program with secret shoppers where they can go out and test to see if the certificate of analysis matches the product. We don't have that for the medical program, and they're going to do this to us on hemp, It's crazy.
Well, I mean, if you look at any sort of medication, they have to evaluate it with the Food and Drug Administration. And I know that obviously it is not the same method of testing, but you would imagine that they would have so much of the percentage of the taxes going back to enforce the compliance, especially for the medicinal patients, because they could have severe health issues if they were given the wrong dosage or the wrong item specifically. So it just like in a normal pharmacy, this should be more regulated. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to collect 7%, and they're taking the 7% from us medical patients and putting it into the disabled children fund. But that's something that the whole state should pay for, not a medical cannabis patient. They should take the 7%, divide it up, put some in the drug treatment, some for veterans, some for, whatever, health and education. Yeah. It's crazy. And I don't get invited to the table for these bills. The only time I get is 3 minutes whenever to go fight them or speak for them. They don't call, hey, Tony, what do you think we ought to do this year? No, they don't even answer my emails back half the time. Them people over there.
Tony is a hazard in those 3 minutes, though. Don't let him undersell those 3 minutes. I've heard his TikToks of you just went to war. I was like, yeah, Tony, get him.
You have to, Brandy. I mean,
you got your flight cap on and everything too. It's like your official hat that you can wear inside of the Capitol building, right?
Oh, well, and that's another story, Brandy. I don't want to get into. They've made me take my garrison cap off for Veterans Action Council, but you go watch videos over there. The veterans are all wearing the garrison caps. They're harassment over there for me because I'm so outspoken. We've traditionally taken our flags in and put them behind our veterans table in the rotunda. Not this year. They won't let us do it. And then they want me to bring all my lobby material 24 hours in advance. So I have to bring stuff to the Capitol to let them look it over. It's like, What are you going to look over my pamphlets and stuff to see what it says, or what is he? I mean, it's crazy.
Do they just like red line through whatever they don't agree with? I have
Yeah.
questions on that. But it's not even like it's an easy place to get to the day before because it's on a giant hill and the parking is kind of far away. So if you're doing it, you would need a group of people to bring it in with you. Like, I mean, of course, like afterwards, people leaving could do it, but it's like you have to create like at least 2 additional trips just to move those things the day before, really.
And not to mention all the public, it's a public building. You have to go through metal detectors and like airport scans to get your stuff through there. If they're not capable of checking my lobby stuff, the day of, then there's something wrong there. That's some kind of, deficiency on their part, because you shouldn't have to make me drive over there a whole day ahead of time, drop my stuff off. But they just trying to shut me down, Brandy, but that ain't going to work. You know me, I'm going to keep on getting in the face until something changes.
Right, Tony. That's right. And so I know that we did go a little over today, which I never mind for podcasts, especially ones this important. All the information you guys have given today and the resources, I absolutely, truly appreciate your guys' time tonight. And I do apologize for it running over. Why do you feel it's important now more than ever on us both of you to become advocates in the veteran community? What about you, Tony?
Well, to stop the arrest and get the medicine to the people, to the health at a affordable price. I mean, because being just sitting back and looking around, seeing what's going on, the patients can't afford it. They're being forced into the illicit market, risking even more dangers of arrest or health consequences from consuming something they don't really even know what's in it. So and strengthen the program where when you purchase something, if it's got post packaging contaminants, that you can bring it in there, turn it in, get it tested. All these things, and it should have happened right off the bat. But all they did was, think about the money end of the business. They didn't think about the health. So that's why it's important. We need to speak to get the health protections.
Very well said. Thank you, brother. And what about you, Tom? Why do you feel it's important now more than ever to be a veteran advocate, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, the only bad thing about cannabis and veterans is the pharmaceutical loses money. I mean, you think about all the health benefits, that's one, but the therapeutical benefits, I honestly think that if the government really cared about veterans and they'd look and actually see how it helps, that they would be more involved. But they're not. It's like every time they want to make it harder for veterans that have given so much and walk around in the days. The bottom line is Dave over at Zero a Day. Zero a Day. What a great mission. He wants to get veteran suicide down to 0 a day. I honestly feel that if every veteran that wanted to try an alternative medicine could grow their own plants across the country and make their own medicine and process their own medicine, there'd be less suicides a day. So, to me, what 2 more reasons do you need than that for advocating for a plant that everyone should be able to grow, for Christ's sake? It's a plant.
Literally.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so nice having you guys on, and it was absolutely a pleasure tonight. I'm gonna just go around with final thoughts. Mine would just be your own best advocate. Your voice matters now more than ever. And if you have questions for us at the I Am the Veteran podcast, if you have something specific that you are wanting to learn more about, I know I've been asked to talk about ketamine infusion therapy and what I've learned about it doing my research with peer-reviewed sources and studies and what the differences are. Like, I'm happy to talk about that. If there's something specific you want to know or you're wanting a podcast on, let me know. Because at the end of the day, we owe it to ourselves to be our brothers and sisters keeper. That didn't end when we got out of service. So I very much try to get information out to people as they need it. And I'll go ahead and defer over to you, Tony. What are your final thoughts for the night?
Well, I'm grateful that you invited me and learned about Tom and I think
That's awesome.
veterans community is very important. Some of them don't get support at the VA. They just don't get the health care that they need. And I think community health with what Tom's doing is very, it's just, I'm just amazed at it. I hope to see, it inspires me to hope to get that in Louisiana one day. And I think if we get more people stepping up, telling their story, it gives legislators the ammo to get some bills passed to get that done.
Absolutely. And for anybody that wants to hear more or find out more information about your upcoming rally, where would they go to find that?
It's Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis on Facebook, and it'll or just show up at the rally. Everybody's invited, and it's important to have people show up, and the legislators see us there. They say, oh, there's a bigger crowd this year, so I'm hoping that's what they do. But you can go to Facebook, Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis. We have a Facebook page by the same name. And I have a YouTube channel by that same name, Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis. I'll break up all my testimonies and put them on YouTube so people can be inspired, hopefully, by what I'm doing here. Maybe somebody will see that and say, "Hey, let's do that," or I'm gonna be able to say that same testimony.
Give them your TikTok handle then, so they can see what you do on the floor in your 3 minutes. Those are entertaining.
Yeah, Tony T Cajun CAJUN 420 on TikTok. I'm on Reddit, on Louisiana Reddit, same T Cajun 420.
You got me on Reddit talking about weed. I can't with you right now, Tony. You guys got me last year. I look at my name out, and every time I see that, I giggle. I'm like, I need to put red for that.
Yeah, I'll get around. I got to spread the word, Brandon. Got to get that word out,
Yes, sir. Come on, sport, guys. Later this month, on the 14th, we're going to be at Baton Rouge Capitol Building. So if anybody wants any more information, please let me know. I'm going to be posting it as well. But I will definitely connect you if you have any questions. And Tom, what about you? What are your final thoughts for the night?
My final thoughts is I got to get more active into the legalization of home grows and stuff. Listen to Tony. To be honest with you, it's been the last couple of years of just finding the seeds and getting the equipment and, getting the people educated. Because, cultivate, medicate, and educate are the big things for the veteran cannabis community. But listening to Tony and just the passion and the ignorance on the other side still fighting this. Like, it's amazing to me that any public official can actually think that cannabis or even hemp, even worse, is bad for you with all the studies that they have. Like, so to me, I think I'm gonna go back a little regress a little bit into the old school and do a little more legislation lobbying for home grows.
Okay.
So,
Definitely.
we're blessed up here in Mass. We have great laws in Mass.
Yeah, I definitely appreciated my time up there. Agree. You have to teach me how to put a lobster to sleep, because I just learned from Women Veterans Glamping, Nicole Jordan was telling me there's a way that they teach the veterans how to pet the lobster to put the lobster to sleep, so that way it doesn't scream or anything when you boil them. Is that true? Is that a thing, or they pull my leg?
I send them to counseling. They go through about a half-hour counseling before they enter the pot. So they're prepared for it the way we do it. We don't put them to sleep. We prepare them that way. I don't know. They're a lobster.
I wish this for Mass too. I didn't know if it was a thing they taught in school. Where I'm from, deer hunting was taught partially in school. So I didn't know. But anyone that is wanting to learn more about what Tom does, he does have his Facebook Patriots Helping Vets page, and then you can for our listeners, you can go to https //www.patriotshelpingvets.org, or also is it forahandshake.org as well?
Yes, forahandshake.org is for horticultural therapy for those states still in the docket.
Janelle says that you give the lobster a microdose. That would make sense to me, that math. But I will go ahead and have Aurelia take us away. And thank you guys so much for coming on. It's such an informative podcast. And I look forward to having you guys on again. You're absolutely welcome back on here anytime. I'll warn you though, whenever I call you up for an event, do you like poor Tony and he ends up meeting 2 life group as an advocate, like, what?
Yeah.
You never know where you'll go with me in advocacy.
Yeah.
I've learned.
So, thank you, Brandy. I mean, just to get the mission out and hear Tony's what he's going through and stuff, it's very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, have a good rest of the night, everybody. And have Aurelia take us away. Take us away, Nuggy.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, victories!
Nah.